If you had to pick one, blood incantation or spectral voice, do you want to think about it a little bit? No, spectral voice. Yeah, but isn't that kind of a douchebaggy thing to say? I love blood incantation. Oh, so you're saying that you... Spectral voice. Oh, hi. My name's Jorge. I grew up in the 80s and I loved getting into trouble. Really into monster trucks. I love cats. Love going to church. Love God. Been a music fan my whole life. Only recently discovering I really like extreme metal of all kinds. And I want to invite you to journey with me on my discovery of extreme metal. What is up, folks? Welcome back to A Christian Collects Death Metal. It's your pal Jorge here, back at you with another video. We got a good one for you today. I'm coming down off of a 2-week sickness. Not COVID, it was just a cold that I struggled to get over. I'm to the end of it. I hope my voice isn't too nasally and grating. I just didn't want to put this video off any longer, so I hope you'll bear with me. Today we will be discussing sort of a retrospective of sorts. Spectral Voice's Necrotic Demos. This is the ERP, which features a bonus 7-inch. So we'll get to that. But yeah, the US release, it was just this. So if you got the European pressing, you get this with it. And they have reissued this, and it is now in Dark Descent, which is where I got this a few weeks back, and I believe Corpse Gristle. Those are two websites that I know for sure at the filming of this video, they have it in stock right now. So we first have the full-length Corridors, Eroded Corridors of Unbeing, which came out in 2017. Then in 2024, obviously, let me hit this light. We don't need this glare. 2024, which, spoiler alert, most definitely going to end up on my albums of the year list, without question, Sparagmos. But in between that time, because that's a 7-year period, so in 2020 they released Necrotic Demos, which is all the official stuff. Oh, actually, let's just look at the back. I think it says on the back, it's the official non-album material. So side A is their original demo, Necrotic Doom, which was 3 tracks. And then side B, the flip side, features some of the demos that they had done with other bands on splits. And we have the bonus 7-inch, which they did Ineffable Winds. That was featured on a split with and Hedonist in 2020. So anyway, and on the back we have some rehearsal tape material from early, like 2015, I think. Maybe 2014, but anyway, we'll get to that. So yeah, this to me is basically a full length. Technically, Corridors, Sparagmos, those are the two legit LPs. And then we have this compilation album. But to me, this is a full length right up there with the best. I get it. It's just a compilation. But man, it is such good material. And this features material that predates Corridors. Like I said, all the way back to the early days, like 2015. This came out in 2017. So even though these guys are with Dark Descent, I think this was distributed, well, I don't know for sure, but Extremely Rotten. I believe the guy, what's his name, Dave from Undergang, I never know if I'm saying that right. I think that's his label. Of course, Spectral Voice, they've toured with those guys before. Actually, if you look at this insert, you'll see some of the different various bands they toured with. And at one point, look, something recent I noticed, Demolic. I thought Demolic was disbanded or didn't, since the 90s. So one of my good pals, Nick Serrano of Hexenhaus, told me that no, they come back, and the guys are just super happy that people are still into their music, and yeah, they get out there and do some shows here and there. So anyway, yeah, you'll see Undegang right here, as well as some other people, Eternal Warfare, Hyperdontia. So anyway, this, on the flip side of this insert, you'll see all the splits right here together. Really cool. And you also get a really rad poster. That's one of the things I love about Spectral Voice. Anytime I bought something from them, just a simple album, they really give you your money's worth. They include posters. With Sparagmos, they gave me they're giving out postcards. They a bonus 7-inch. Obviously, this was the European pressing, but like I said, we have access to this now in the States. So, I mean, they really give you your money's worth. And actually, I saw on a video from Adam Schnell, it's been a while back, where he was talking about the split with Blood Incantation. On the back of it, it featured text that says, "Do not pay more than $10 for this." I don't think that the reissues say that, but Schnell had the original first pressing that did say that. And the only thing that can is, first of all, really cool that they even done that in the first place, looking out for the fans, making sure we're not out here getting our heads hit with a baseball bat, getting scalped, what have you. I think these are on Movie Mars now for like $30-some, the reissues. Last time I checked. Anyway, yeah, that's super cool of them. The only thing that I could remember that even come close to that, apparently Chanel told me that, no, this was a thing back in the day in the DIY scene. You know, you basically, like Finn McKinney said, get kicked out of the scene for charging too much for tapes and stuff. But I obviously, me being new to this whole world, I didn't know that. The only thing I could think of was Tom Petty fighting with the label back in the day, the label execs and stuff, that he wanted to keep his albums at a fair price for the fans because they was wanting to raise prices. And he said, no, we need to keep this at a reason. And he fought to keep his albums at a low, reasonable cost. And that's what Spectral Voice reminds me of here. Always giving you your money's worth. They got that Tom Petty ethic, and I appreciate that for sure. Spectral Voice, made up of 4 members now, wasn't always so. Started out with just 2 of them. Basically, the heartbeat of Spectral Voice is Eli Wendler and Paul Rydell. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing those names correctly. Please forgive me. Correct me in the comments below if I'm wrong. These guys, these 2 fellas, I think that might be Eli, and I'm not. One of the others is Paul. In keeping with in Spectral Voice fashion, their photos are obscured. It's hard to tell who's who. Everything's dark. It's hard to make out. And that's a good aesthetic to keep. It's on the other albums as well. It only makes sense that it's here too. But Eli and Paul, of course, Eli, he's also in Black Curse. Paul in Blood Incantation. They would later go on to enlist the help of Jay Barrett, also with Blood Incantation, and Mr. Kolontirsky. Probably butchered that all the way around. I'm so sorry. He is also in Black Curse, as well as Blood Incantation. It's well known by now that this is basically, 3/4 Blood Incantation, save for Eli. We have Rotting Auras starting things off, and it's just clanging cymbals throughout. I mean, they just bang on throughout. Down-tuned guitars, slow riffage that picks up the pace here and there. All together, it sets a dark, brooding atmosphere. This song reminds me of being lost in a dank, under-earthen maze, hopelessly looking around for an exit, and there's just no way out. That's really what this song reminds me of. If you haven't heard it, and I'm sure you have if you're watching this, but it really sets the mood for what's to come. Track 2, we have Horrid Phantasm, or what I like to call Stranger Things theme as envisioned by Spectral Voice. It really does sound like Stranger Things. They do a much better job, and it is just a chef's kiss intro. It is so eerie and creepy. Of course, things speed up with the drums and the guitars only to come back to like just a molasses pace. It is a haunting track. It's a personal favorite of mine. Track number 3, we have Defluence of Ruined Graves. And now let me just tell you what, some of these song titles, these are words I've never even heard of before. Defluence, these are, and it's that way on every single album. Defluence, I looked that up, Googled it. Apparently, it is like a running off of liquid, or it could be like a dissolving, or it could also have something to do with a wind pattern. That is actually in step with wind motifs that they use further in the album. So, super ominous, menacing, foreboding track. Spectral Voice at their absolute finest. Glacially slow. Then pillaging speed, from slow to fast, and they bridge the gap so well. You feel like you're in a forgotten graveyard with like crumbling headstones, dark overcast skies, and you're witnessing the decay firsthand. It is an absolute haunter. Alright, so side B, this is where it features various demos on splits that they've done with bands. The first track being Slowly Claimed by Oblivion, which is obviously off of the Blood Incantation split. And that was back in 2015, I think. Yeah. Just a super spooky wall of sound that, as the title states, it slowly claims you. It sucks you in. If you have a chance to listen to this one on headphones, my gosh, man, you need to do that. Talk about just being enveloped, all-encompassing, all-consuming, a haunting track, if there ever was one. Track 2, Peeled Veins. This was originally on the Phrenolith split, 2016. This is a fast one. This is a mean one. It is the most ferocious song that they've ever done, probably. Close to it, we'll talk about that. In my opinion, it's so different than what they've done. You almost have to ask yourself, is this a one-off? But not really, because on Sparagmos, their most recent album, they did Sinew Sensor. So, Sinew Sensor is basically the Peeled Veins of Sparagmos, in my opinion. And I mean that in a good way. It's just a fast one. Sinew Sensor is in a similar vein. Peeled Vein. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Dude, this is a relentless onslaught of just blasting drums. And what I believe is some tremolo picking there at some point. And track number 3, finishing things off for this portion, Katabatic Depths. Katabatic, another word that I have no idea what that means. I had to look it up. When's the last time you heard katabatic? Another term that is rarely heard, at least for me. It's just not something you hear every day, but it's a running trend, like I already mentioned with Spectral Voice. Interesting, unique song titles. Stuff that you have to look up to find out what they mean. So basically, katabatic means a downward motion of cool air in keeping with the wind motif, like we've already mentioned. This is like cool air pushing down into some depths. So Katabatic Depths, a really cool song title. This was first featured on the Vastum split in 2018. This is unmistakably Spectral Voice. By this point, I think that they have perfected their sound. Strained, low vocals, riffage that keeps things moving. Parts don't linger for too long, and I appreciated that about this band. This song epitomizes the greatness of Spectral Voice, in my opinion, and establishes them as the death doom juggernaut that they are. And to finish things off, we have the bonus included, the bonus 7-inch, which was included, the ERP. So this features the final proper Spectral Voice song, which is Ineffable Winds. It also features some rehearsal stuff on the back side, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Ineffable Winds, there we go, with winds again. Starting to see a trend here. Already talked about the winds motif. Second trend, obviously, mentioned this too. Unique song titles. Ineffable. Oxford Languages Dictionary says that this means too great or too extreme to be expressed or described in words. So we're talking about winds that are too great to be expressed in words or described in words. So really cool. This track starts out pretty fuzzy, feedbacky, and sludgy. Then in Spectral Voice fashion, things ramp up, right? The vocals quite a bit different than what we're used to seeing so far on this collection. Blackened, squalling vocals. Then we get some gutturals, not too far behind that, complemented with some super heavy chugs. This is a dank, dark song, and it sends you spiraling down into an abyssal descent. Getting back to these blackened screams after a while, and then it slows down with some of the most doom-laden chugs, crushing, swallowing. This track is a absolute hallmark of Spectral Voice. It's one of the best that they've ever done, in my opinion. So on the flip side of the 7-inch, we have some tour rehearsal tape material from 2015, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. And this is a cover of Metallica's For Whom the Bell Tolls. As only Spectral Voice can do it. Super heavy. This is a heavy, doomy song anyway. One of the heaviest Metallica ever did. And for Spectral Voice to get a hold of it and add some nuance and their twist to it is really cool to see. And you know, the funny thing is, when you look on Discogs and you look up Necrotic Demos, ERP, and it talks about the side B, I think they call it track 8 or so. I'm not really sure. But anyway, they basically say that, hey, we don't know what this is. This is not even stated anywhere. But, you know, it only takes listening to it for 2 seconds, and even greenhorn me, wet behind the ears, even I can recognize that, hey, this is a Metallica cover. So I think somebody needs to edit that Discogs entry. So guys, I guess that's it. Thank you so much for stopping by, for watching. Leave a like if you don't care, and let me know in the comments exactly what you think. Did I mess up somewhere along the line? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments below. I need all the help I can get. I'm new at this. I'm learning stuff every day. Any advice, feedback, criticism, all welcomed. I appreciate all your comments, all the love and support. Spectral Voice, Necrotic Demos, out now. Well, reissued once again. Dark Descent. Jorge Anito here, a Christian who collects death metal. Signing off. Be blessed.